Morning. Today I'm going to compound upon what I talked about, which is creating files with the creat function or system call. Currently, if I do a tree on this, you're going to see that I have 0 files. Directory, I do have a directory, it's just not indicating that, but yeah, I have 0 files. Now, I'm going to make use of a command called the touch command. Now the touch command by itself, if I enter it like this, like so, it errors out. But if I give it a file like touchy.c, I don't get anything. And that in programming is a good thing, right? And now if I do the same command tree, what does it do? It tells me that I have one directory, and in that one directory it contains a single file, that is touchy.c. Now, that is it's not everything I want to show. I want to show you that by just merely using the create file, we can create a similar program that would mimic some of the abilities that this command has. So, without further ado, let's do that. Now, I'm going to do the traditional stuff of including files. I'm going to include stdio.h, no pun to that. Maybe 2 more. I'll have this lib, and I'll have fn, I think it's fcntl, I always forget that, uni std. Std, by the way, stands for standard library, I believe, not std. So yeah, keep going. We'll have our argument count, and then we'll have our regular argument v. Now here I'll have the exit, and in that exit we're going to exit here in this instant with a success. Right, correct. All right, now I'll define a macro called file name, and it's gonna be 1. You know what I mean? So now I want the ability to say if the argument count is less than 2, print error message. Should I do msg like that? Right, so I'm gonna do this if the error count is less than 2. Then I want to do I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna printf standard output. I'm going to say, this is where we print a message, right? We're going to say touchy missing file operand, like that, like this. And then we're going to tell it, maybe you should try, I don't need to do it this way, but it's kind of like missing file operand. Yeah, maybe you should try something like this. Try touchy file name, something like that, right? Cool. Failure. Cool. So in the case when, let's say, we only have the name of the program, which is touch or touchy, then we're going to throw an exception, or maybe just exit out with a failure, not an exception, by the way. Now, in the case where you give us a name, a file name, whatever it is, what we need to do is to create a file descriptor, and then we're going to use the create function. And what are we going to do? So in this argument, we're going to have the file name, right? And I'm going to give it the permission bit, that, correct? And we're going to basically do the same thing. Well, not now. I'm going to check, right, if fd is less than 0, then I have to, this is actually standard error, not standard out. Like that, standard that, and I also need this here, right? Because you're saying I was unable to create the file, and I will go and write this message: error creating file, like that. And if we were able to create a file, what are we going to do? We're just going to close it. We're going to close the file, right? Like we always do. Now I'm not going to care for this. I'm just going to say, hey, this is just going to be void, and that is the end of that. So just to repeat what I said, we're going to first check if we have like the name of the file. In the case where the argument count is less than 2, then we will print our error message missing the file operand, and then we will give them the hint on how to create a file using touchy. Say, hey, you have to try using touchy and the name of the file that you intend to create. We'll create that file for them using this system call with the permission bits that are needed, and then we'll check if fd, or the file descriptor, is less than 0, then we know there's an error, else we create the file and get away. So now let's go out of here, and then I will compile, right? gcc tag o touchy, and I'll give touch. Again, just to start from the top, let's use touch. I'm going to do this. It's going to give me its message, and I am going to do, okay, I know what touch needs a file operand. I'm going to say test1.txt, and nothing happens. And if I run a tree, if I do this, you see that I created the file needed, has the correct it has the correct permission bit. Now I'll run the same thing with touchy. First tells you, hey, missing file operand, try touchy. So now I'm going to do the same thing I did, but instead of using test1, I'm going to use file. I'm going to use file1.txt, run, and the same approach happened, right? It's like, hey, I've done something. I didn't see any bad alarms ringing, so I'm going to do the same thing. ll, you can see that I have file, the same permission bits, and that's great. Now, what is cool about touch is that you can give it multiple amounts of names of files to create, and it does that without thinking about it. So if I do touch and I do f1, I like f1.txt_s.c, it creates that, right? And if I do ll, we'll see these files, f1 and then c file, right? However, if I do the same thing with touchy and I say f2.txt and then s2.c, only f2 will be created, I believe. Why? Because that's the first file to be given, and that's the only thing I'm taking, right? So now if I do ll, I'm going to see f2, but where is s2? Is non-existent. We will carry on and talk about this at a later time. Thank you for being here. and listening. See you another time, yeah?